There's quite a lot of music. The music is mostly from this film called Viva la Muerte, which is Arabato. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's the film that's inspiring to her, or that you spoke about.
I think we just. I'd watched it recently, and I got her to watch it, and yeah, and there was something, and he uses a real kind of weird mix of music, like traditional Spanish music, in the film, and I don't know. Somehow it just seemed to fit. Often it's just, it's kind of serendipitous for me. Like when I'm working on a film, if simultaneously I've heard some other sounds at the same time that I like, then I might just steal them. Yeah, I mean that's one of the beauties of shooting on film is that you can't just keep it running the whole time. So I am quite tight. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, sometimes it's sort of planned. I mean, so there was a kind of structure to when she was making the painting, for example, that I had a sort of structure that I would do this. Maybe I can't really remember what it was now, but like say 3 times during the day, and I would film for 5 minutes, 3 times that day, something like that. But yeah, other times it's much more. I'm looking a lot. I spend a lot of time just hanging around. I mean, we spent a lot of time. I was there a lot over a year and a half. I would go and visit her every couple of months or so and stay for a few days each time. So you can imagine, like, actually the majority of the time we're sitting around drinking tea, moving into wine in the evening, and occasionally one of us will say, should we do some work? And then we'll do something. And yeah, so it's also just just when it feels right, really. Yeah, I mean, that was, I showed her all of my, well, I don't know about all of them, but I showed her like a whole bunch of films, before we got going. Which is, she refers to that at the beginning as well, when she's talking at the very beginning, when she's writing or painting the title of the film, she's talking about my Scottish movie, and that when she saw that film, she thought she wouldn't have to do an interview, because there's no talking in that film, so she thought that was nice. And I guess I might have been putting in, because she makes these paintings from films, but they usually she's made a lot of paintings from Tarantino films and Herzog and I don't know, some other stuff, and I guess I was sort of saying, how about like doing one of mine? Because originally I thought that could be like a nice thing to happen, like throughout the film, that she's working on a painting based on one of my films, but kind of egotistical. But what can I say? But so she decided on Sack Bauer because she really liked that film. It's got all these kind of pin-ups hanging around and some. So she decided on it, and I said, okay, I'm coming Monday morning, keep that canvas blank, and I'll be there, and we'll get going. And I turn up on Monday, and and I'd spoken to her maybe on Thursday evening or something. I turn up on Monday, and she's almost finished it. So she just got into it so quickly that she spent. Sometimes when she's into a painting, she hardly sleeps. She'll just work like throughout the day and the night. So I turned up, and she'd already done. She'd done this painting, which was great, but sort of frustrating as well, because I missed my big ego chance. But it's I think it's. Yeah, I mean, that was a nice thing for both of us, that we could sort of, reference each other somehow, because it does feel like a conversation between the two of us. I think the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just, I really like her. That's her garden, and I really like her garden. She lives in a sort of small village in Kent, and Kent is called the Garden of England, and people really look after their gardens, and it's all quite pristine in these villages. And her style of gardening is really free form, and basically she just lets things grow, and where she wants a flat area, she'll just sort of stomp that area with her big trainers, sneakers, so I just wanted her in that space, just kind of wandering around in that space, and we talk in that space a bit, and but yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those sort of very immediate things that you think about just on the spur of the moment, to give her the sound recorder, and for that to be, for that to become more like that sound to become really physical, and the recorder itself, is sort of interacting with all that overgrownness, and yeah.
There is this thing with women painters in the art world, right, where they often get discovered when they're like really like much older, or much more advanced in their career. And I'm just curious, since it's not in the forefront there, but I could sort of feel it in the background. Like, was that something you've discussed, or is that something that that is there for her? I know that she's been acknowledged recently, maybe more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's doing really well now. But yeah, it's been in the last sort of 5-10 years.
She's in her 80s. Yeah.
She's 81 now, and she was 80 when we did this, yeah, I mean, we did talk about it. I mean, part of it was she met her husband, Roy Oxlade, when they were at art school, and they had children. They had 3 children when they were really young, and this is obviously something that happens to women more than men, is that their careers get put on hold. So Roy was quite a successful painter for a period with a group of other painters in Britain, and then his career sort of like cooled off a bit, and then she went back to art school in her 50s to do a master's, and then sort of gradually built up, and yeah, it's been this kind of very slow build, and now I think people are taking her really seriously, and she's in major collections all over the place, and it's really amazing. And she doesn't really moan about it. She's about thinking about the past. She's just very happy that it's happening, and she's incredibly productive. I mean, it's just so inspiring being around someone like that who's really like so productive at that sort of time.
there any other questions? Then otherwise, we'll just go hang out. That's cool.
There's a hand.
Okay, one last. Yes.
How do you think she got the best room at the Chelsea Arts Club?
I think she'd made it by that time, or they knew something. You know, this was, or it was probably Roy, because you know, Roy is really well respected. Was sadly he died while we were making the film. Actually, it was, and but he'd been ill for a very long time. But he's quite an important painter and writer as well. And it's really nice. She talks about him as if he's still there. I mean, I guess 'cause you've been together with someone for 60 years or something. They're still kind of there to have a conversation with. Yeah. One more.
Okay. What's the fascination with tabloid photography?
I mean, she said that she I was asking her about that. I mean, she said that she's struck mostly visually. So, it could be Nicole Kidman, she could just be struck by this black strap on Nicole Kidman's back, or she's made a lot of paintings of footballers, but she's not a big football fan. But she kind of likes the way they look, those images in the newspaper when you see like a footballer, like frozen. And so, yeah, it's not really, she's quite resistant about the idea of talking about cultural reference in a way, or like, giving meaning to images like that. She's really likes to keep it kind of ambiguous and at a distance, so that it's really about an image.
Composition.
Yeah.
We're so happy to have you here. Thanks for
Thanks
premiering
very
with
much.
us. This is great.
Thank you.